Okay, honestly, what I'm doing is self-explanatory, but today I decided to do some fan art for Kazi because she inspires me. Well, in terms of tutorials, because like that girl's got a lot of tutorials. I don't know what brought this up to just draw some fan art, but my channel was dying. I didn't know what else to do, so I was bored. And I didn't want to watch a movie, so I just decided to pick up Speedpaint and draw Kazi because I remembered that I asked for her OC code on Discord and she gave it to me. So I was like, you know what, make her some fan art because I haven't drawn in a while. And yeah. While drawing this, I realized that my art style had gotten a lot more different. Like my pen was more rough and I used more lines for like the hair, and my lines were a lot more sketchy than clean like they usually are, which is kind of nice. It was kind of weird that all of a sudden my art style just changed because I left Paint for like a couple weeks. And yeah, I really struggled on the hair for some reason, so I had to import a floating head to get the reference. And yeah, I traced over it because I really couldn't be bothered to spend any more time on the hair. So then I moved on to the body, which was surprisingly not too hard actually. But the things that just took me the most time for some reason were the hands. I am decently okay at drawing hands, but for some reason it took me such a long time. I kept drawing poses and shapes and lowering the opacity, drawing over it, but then I wasn't satisfied, so then I erased the hands, make a new layer, delete, and so on. Just keep drawing and deleting layers because it wouldn't come out the way I wanted it to. I'd say in general that the hands were just the one thing that took me the longest in this illustration. And I don't really know how I feel about that, but I kept trying different poses, putting my hands in different poses, and just trying to copy what my hand was doing, but it wasn't working out. As you can see, I spent like probably 20 minutes trying to draw the hands. I don't know, 30 minutes, 15 minutes on each hand. I don't know, but it took a really long time. Everything else just fell into place, but the hands, bro, the hands. After hours and hours of struggling, I finally managed to draw a hand to satisfaction. It wasn't exactly perfect, but I didn't want to spend any more time on it because it was really getting me annoyed. So I moved on to the body, and I actually saw this way of drawing bodies from this channel I'm subscribed to called Love to Draw Manga. I would often like draw the rough pose or anatomy for the person she's about to draw and draw the limbs and stuff. And honestly, I didn't really think this was gonna help, but it did, because every time I tried this feature, it would just kind of make the drawing worse. But maybe it's because there's a gacha character under it and I'm not actually drawing it from scratch using just the anatomy posting. Okay, arm number 2, another obstacle in this drawing. This also took forever to finish. Look at this hand pose. You can tell this took me a good amount of time to draw. So after struggling for weeks and weeks on end, I finally came up with a pose that was decent for me to draw, which is this. The fingers were not cutting it, okay, so I just decided to draw some knuckles and make it look like they were important. So plus that hand is not really important, she's reaching for the stars anyways. I don't really think I've drawn a scarf before, but the scarf was really cool to draw. Like, it came out really well, better than I expected actually, especially the part that's tied around her neck. And yeah. Throughout the course of this drawing, the tool that I use the most is probably the liquify pen. Can't tell you how much it saved my life. Thank you so much, Speedpaint, for making this feature. I didn't have to redraw the hand or adjust it weirdly using the transforming tool. I could just like move it to my will, and that was really nice. So I drew the eyes, and I was planning on drawing as many eyelashes as possible, but that didn't work out. So getting to drawing the face and eyebrows. I found a brush that was pretty good for the eyebrows, but for some reason me and the brush were not agreeing. So yeah, I had to just find a way to improvise the eyebrows. Base colors, yay! Fill in the base colors. And at this point, I was trying to fill in the base colors with the thingamajig. What's it called again? The bucket tool. And some parts weren't filling out, so I just have to keep pressing it so that those white spots would fill out. Then I started shading, and I started with the torso, which came out decent. To be honest, I was inspired by Love to Draw Manga's style of shading the torso, and I used that, and it came out pretty well. I didn't think it would go that smoothly. Then I started filling other base colors and shading. Do you think it would have been wise to first fill out the base colors and then shade, or like do stepping stone like I was? I don't really know, but hey, as long as you get the same result, right? So for one, I have no idea how to shade skin. I kind of had to freestyle it. What I usually do is that I fill out the base color, and then I take the airbrush and then do this light rosy pink thing on like the joints. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but I just do it because I have no idea what else to do. So I really had to freestyle this one, but it turned out okay, so no complaints here. I set up like a mini version of the screenshot that I took of Kazi that I was using to trace over, and I dropped the color of the liner of the skin, and it turned out pretty nice, and I decided to save it. You never know. And someone please tell me how you shade eyes. I didn't know what I was doing the entire time. My eye shading style is really simple because I don't know how to shade eyes actually. So then I gave Kazi some eyebrows, and then I moved on to the hair. The hair, the hair didn't take that long, but it was also kind of tedious, if you know what I mean. Like, since there's two colors, there's dark brown and there's black, I kind of had to make it work because the hair was on different layers and I needed to make it blend, and I spent quite a bit of time on that. So Here there was this obnoxiously large piece of coloring that wouldn't go away, and I didn't know what layer it was on, so I spent some time trying to figure out how to get rid of it and what layer it was on. So yeah, I got rid of it eventually though, and then I started to adjust, and then I drew a mouth. I also added some duck lips to make it really look like I was the one who drew it, because yes, I like to draw lips. I realized I forgot to shade either side though, but never mind. So I finished the drawing and I started to work on the background. And knowing Kazi, she's a starry person from what I've seen in her channel so far. So I decided to draw a starry night sky and blur it. And yeah, so the idea is that she'd be floating towards the star or something, or just like leaning over a balcony. I don't know, but the balcony just had to be there, and she'd be trying to touch a star. And I just spent some time figuring out how I was going to make that happen. I drew a balcony, never drawn one before, sorry if it sucks. I then looked for the brush in Ibis Paint for stars, the star brush, and I found two. One had softer sides and looked more like a starfish, and I found this one, which was the actual like pointy star, the whole jizz. Then I used an airbrush for the starry glow effect, and I used the frosted glass blur effect because like just the blur was kind of boring. And then I did the lighting, and bada bing bada boom. Then I had to add the extra lighting and the watermark so no one steals it. Not that anyone's gonna steal it, I trust. And yeah, I added two. I don't know why I added two, but I just did. So there we go, finishing product. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.